Okay, so we're recording. Welcome to session 4. So most of you survived the Enforcement Droid 209 field test trials. Congratulations. Here are your karma rewards for this session. Again, you have the choice of putting some of those towards advancement or towards your own karma pool. You can now see, based on the last fight, how useful it might be to have some karma handy for critical heroic deeds. For defeating the 2 Enforcement Droid 209s, you get 60 karma. For defeating the formidable Advanced Enforcement Droid 210, you got 75 karma. Chris, you got a lot of papers kind of clapping back there. Thanks, buddy.
I got like 1,300 pages of character here.
For making use of the existing battlefield with the tanks, driving the tank and firing it, 10 points. The forklift, lifting it up and dropping it, 5 points. Using ED-209 as a missile against ED-210, that was 10 points. For identifying the following 4 flaws in the ED-209 design, the antenna weakness, 5 points. That the CPU is located in the chest area, 10. The rocket hatch opening delay for a split second when it fires, leaving a vulnerability, that was 5. That it is vulnerable to electric penetration, at least initially, that's worth 8. For having 4 out of 5 heroes still standing at the end of the fight, 8 points there. For obtaining the compound rod from S.H.I.E.L.D. when you asked Nick Fury about it and he gave it to you, 15 points for that. For very creative team application of powers, 25 points. And for massive destruction of fake city property, 0 points for a change. You take no negatives.
You take no negatives.
Yeah, so you're...
A change of colors is now required. Oh,
Total karma for last session earned was 236 per person. So we'll just start real quick summarizing how you improved from last fight. How did you spend your karma? Nerd, do you want to start us off? Oh, do you have a question, Android? Andy?
I went up in fighting up to a 20. I went up in strength up to a 26. And I put the remaining, about half of it, to the general pool, the rest to my own.
Very good. Who wants to speak next? Brian Baird, the bat?
Yeah. I bumped my matter conversion up from excellent to remarkable. And because I can now convert more matter at a time, I increased my strength and endurance by 6 so that they are now excellent. And my fighting by 1.
Did you leave any karma left over?
Yes, I have 16 karma left over.
Oh, God. All right, very good. The nerd, what did you do?
Wallace Worthington increased his strength to 26, increasing it by 16 points, which makes him now remarkable.
Wow.
And his fighting increased by a single point from 36 to 37, so he is now an incredible fighter.
Very impressive.
He had 61 karma left, donated 30 to the pool, and kept 31 for his greedy self.
So now you've hit the point where you get 3 attacks instead of just 2, because your fighting is so good.
Yes!
I just have to remember to do that.
Yes!
And Max the Tank, what have you done?
Max has basically upped his rocket power from 26 remarkable to 37 incredible, which matches exactly his body armor, body resistance of incredible 37.
Well done.
That was 140 points or something like that, or 30 points. I also increased my agility up 1 point from 36 to 37 for 15 points.
Oh, okay.
I believe that left me with 91 karma, of which I put 20 in the pool. So I have 71 left for myself.
Very wise to keep some for yourself.
Yes.
And
after last time, yes.
And you're the one who does take the most damage out of the group, it seems.
Yeah.
Maybe the nerd is right behind you, though.
Yeah, he's probably.
And Triple J, the Whisperer, what have you done?
I have increased my vibration control from typical to remarkable, and also my mind control, or transfer, excuse me. Again, from typical to remarkable, and have 16 left over, and will hoggishly keep that all for myself.
That's very heroic of you. Well done.
I will give 1 to the karma pool, just in case I need it.
Max,
You greedy bastard!
you got that? You can add 1 to the pool there?
We now have 101 points in the karma pool.
And last session, how many points did you have in the karma pool? The community karma pool?
We had 140.
Wow. Okay.
We were down to 20.
Half of that was donated by me.
Well, that was very heroic of you, Brian Barrett.
Right, and then you hid in a tank. Okay, thanks.
Okay, and then...
Tactical decision.
They used the tank as a shield.
Right, so he was able to give us his karma. I got it.
Shield.
Oh, God.
Oh, well played.
Oh.
Are you going to boot me out now?
Yes.
So I think our recap from last session is actually a very quick one. You engaged in and defeated the 3 enforcement droids developed by the SHIELD Research and Development Group, applying your powers in very creative ways. At the end of the fight, we had 1 man down. Max the Tank was collapsed and unconscious, taking a staggering amount of damage when I believe Brian Baird used his telekinetic abilities to fire the tank directly into the last droid. Simultaneously, Triple J, the Whisperer, used his vibration enhancement to vibrate the hands of the tank, turning him almost like into a vibrational knife. It was a spectacular display. There was a bit of a price to pay as Max the Tank, a very resistant fellow, was actually knocked out. And here we are on the scene of the battle. Smoke is rising from the ruins of the 3 down droids. You've received a golf clap from Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. At this point, I think you can all add S.H.I.E.L.D. Research and Development as a contact for your characters. You may also add Nick Fury as a contact for your characters. However, keep in mind, you may not want to call in any favors. It's not like he's a golfing buddy of yours. If you do call him, it's going to have to be for something very serious.
So we don't go into the bars and say, Siri, call Nick Fury just to show off.
Right, that probably would not be wise.
It worked the first time.
Also, a reminder, just on your current status, you're all very beat up. I believe 2 of you, the nerd, you got struck by that white ray, and you currently have lost one of your powers, the electrical transmission.
Traveling power.
Yes. Yeah. And then Max, you got hit with one of these as well. You lost your rocket power, is that correct?
Yes.
And you don't feel it inside of you at all.
Mr. Fury.
The nerd.
I was struck by a beam that has robbed me of one of my powers. How long should I expect to be feeling so incapacitated?
He chuckles wryly, and he kind of grins. He says, our best guess, 5 to 10 days. At that point,
thanks for the warning.
I think I'm going to roll and find out just how long it's going to be before you get your powers back.
No! Oh, that's not what I want to hear!
Okay, I got a number for the nerd. Now I'm rolling a number for Max. Oh.
Why is he rolling twice? He said 5 to 10 days. He's rolling. I only gave him 10-sided dice.
I'm rolling D5 twice, so I'm taking the result, dividing by 2, okay, and then adding. So it's really 2 to 10, I suppose. So you're gonna have to wait until that comes back. A small inconvenience, but hopefully stay on your feet, rest up for a bit, don't get into any trouble, and you won't have any issues.
You know what we do for a living? How are we supposed to stay out of trouble?
Well, you got a travel day tomorrow. You're welcome to stay. Enjoy the facilities of S.H.I.E.L.D. tonight. I think your flight is for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We want to thank you for your services and...
You think we want to fly back commercial after last time?
After this, don't you think you could arrange at least a charter plane for us? After the ass whooping we took?
Or at least let us stay here an extra day and recover, and then fly us home.
And then, if nothing else, you could fly us home and you could transfer somebody else home after you recover.
I'll tell you what. I'll see what I can do about getting you a private flight. Let me look into it.
You ever see spies like us?
Now, at this time, I know it's late. I know it's coming on 11 o'clock. But I'd like to just debrief with you now. Get your memories while you're fresh as to what you think the design defects are in these creatures. And then I'll let you get off to bed. Does that sound reasonable to you?
I have no problems with that. I'm fine. I'm pretty sore, but whatever.
He escorts you back to a lavish, plush, comfortable office. There is food, there is drink.
And Max is just devouring.
Were they able to grant our request of having shawarma for our after combat? So they keep with our tradition.
They keep up. They were not aware of your request, but now that you.
I thought we specified that. Didn't we ask for that?
But now that you've requested it, they keep some kitchen staff on call at all times, and within about 30 minutes, you have shawarma that rivals even the local joint that's on the first floor of your building. It's not bad. It's not quite that level, but it's pretty rich and tasty. Hey, Chris, you may want to put it on mute when you're not chatting. We can kind of hear your background noise.
Bedtime for
Bedtime for Chris? What?
I find a plug.
Bedtime? All right.
You start plugging in as you're talking in the conference room? No problem. You begin to recharge your uses.
I plug myself back in.
Max, you are feeling ravenous, even hungrier, perhaps the hungriest you've ever felt in your life.
I literally just started devouring everything I
How's
got.
how's that table taste?
You can feel your body, the muscles knitting, the bones mending within you. You feel itchy all over, and
A bloody pile of bruise.
And in about 10 more minutes, I'll be like, I feel so much better.
yeah, the only thing you will have left at the end of this conversation in an hour is your pinky, which is now about 3/4. Yeah.
3/4 away.
You were from death to just one pinky left.
Yeah.
All right, let's make this quick. I want to know what defects you see, how you would take advantage of this thing, and what we should work on for the future on improving this model.
Does he have anything in his hands right now?
He's got a tablet.
I use telekinesis to pull a tablet from him. So, defect number 1 that we didn't show you.
Roll. Ooh, that's good. Give me a roll, green. This should be easy. In fact, he's not expecting it, so I'll give you a +1 shift on that roll.
That's pretty
Like, defect number 1. You can't have somebody walking around with a tablet controlling It's just not going to fly.
okay, telekinesis is a 36. It's incredible, I should say. So rolling it at an amazing. I've already got D10s up. I need to get the volume or count. In my eyes. Yeah, I got a 41, which is in green. Yeah, it's a green.
Fury raises his eyes in surprise as the tablet slips right out of his hand and flies right into your own.
Yeah. Problem number 1. You can't have these things being remote controlled by something so obvious as this. I know you can be doing it hiding from behind a building, but the bad guys are smart and they can find you.
He nods.
I hand him his tablet back.
Excellent point. Noted. Thank you. Anything else?
The timing on the rocket could be worked on to shorten the time in which there's an open area on the droid.
Oh, I hadn't picked up on that. He nods to one of his assistants. They're writing furiously. What else you got?
More redundant systems. I fried a simple CPU and took out an entire droid on my own.
They are intelligent. The other two you would find would not succumb to that weakness, but it's good to shore it up at the beginning so they don't even have a chance.
Possibly put some kind of metallic coating or non-metallic coating around these CPUs.
Something insulated. Speaking of insulated, how'd you get into that thing in the first place?
I just dove in.
That could be a problem if you come across anybody with, sorry. with that, somebody who has a power like his.
Yeah, you would have found that he would not have been able to do that on the other two, but that's a good
if
point.
Somebody else had a similar power that was not influenced by conduit, by current.
Agreed.
Teleport in.
Better shielding on the internal systems from any kind of source.
They take notes carefully. Anything else?
Oh yeah, the antenna sticking up, obvious target. I think you should keep it there, but don't make it non-functional.
I
saw that, I knew I wanted to go for that.
I like the way you think, Bard. That's good. That's not bad at all.
An oval built into the back, where it's protected more, and you still have the.
Don't have them talk.
Not at all.
Well, giving their own status out loud told us just how close we were or how far we were from defeating them.
Yeah, that was more for our benefit than theirs. I'll tell them. Cut the mics on those things. That's good. Anything else, gentlemen?
The worst thing is you went over this no more than 10 minutes ago. Remember.
Let's look forward to
I think you got most of them.
I think if you could do anything to them. figure out a way for their exoskeletons. I know they got some sort of regeneration, but I was still able to bash through it.
They do have an organic metallic compound. It's a derivative of that rod you got right there.
Yeah.
Strengthen it up, though, huh? Or increase the speed of the healing.
Increase the speed of their ability to regen.
Our design problem is this. The weaker we make it, the faster it heals. The stronger we make it, the slower it heals. We thought we had a good bounce.
That was quite good.
Well, yeah. I mean, not to, toot my own horn or anything, man. But, yeah, I mean, I guess depending on how many of them you do, I mean, if there were 10 of them there, I think the outcome would have been very different.
Send them out in numbers then.
So
don't put them in 3s. Put them in
put them in 5s or 7s or something like that.
I would think that
I'm not willing to try that.
Well, I didn't say we were willing to try that.
There was 5 of us, and we were able to take out 3 of them. And if we were doing some nefarious activities, we would have been able to continue that afterwards when they lost 1 man. How big is the biggest supervillain group that you encounter at a time, and just make sure that you have numbers that are
exceeding that.
I think if it's a matter of cost effectiveness, you go with the thinner material that regenerates faster with more of them. It was still significant amounts of.
I mean, I took an absolute beating, guys. I mean, I did these things with every single thing I had, and I mean, I literally took an absolute beating. I don't know. I mean, 3 of them, 5 of us were a pretty smart group. I think we used our stuff together pretty well. And I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, 5, 7 of those things against even a really significant group. Like other than that they would be able to hold them for quite a while.
One thing to consider, and I don't think we did, was that if they use the same alloy as the rod, using the body of one against another creates a significant weak point.
How do you recommend we get around that?
I don't know. Maybe there's a way to destroy for it to automatically self-destruct when it becomes incapacitated.
The problem there is that we've got civilians. We don't want to hurt the civilians by having these things blow up in front of a child.
Generating at that point.
They could. I wonder if you could synthesize my power of matter conversion to have them puff into something else.
Listen, if we had the ability of matter conversion and we could create that on demand, we would be doing a lot more than just robots at this point.
Maybe I should sell you my services.
You have a gift. Very few heroes have that.
Theory. What is the ultimate goal of these?
It's to be around when you aren't.
Is it to beat the other
villains,
advantageous villains? Is it to keep them busy until reinforcements can come? Is it to destroy them? Is it to arrest them? What is the actual...
There is no way that we can create a droid that is going to substitute the powers of a Thor or an Iron Man. The idea here is to take care of the scum that are too small for those guys to handle when those guys are off-planet or away with bigger problems.
I know, right?
Is that like off-gassing?
We want the campaign to off-planet.
The expense reports are terrible, let me tell you.
I want to go hang out with the Green Lantern.
Gentlemen, any more thoughts? I know you've had a long day.
I'm sorry, I was too busy over here eating, stuffing my face. Somebody mentioned something about reinforcing the compartment where their chips were.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And speeding up their armament deployment.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
With the rocket.
Yeah.
The android, Andy the android mentioned that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I was too busy eating because I can starve.
Another way to handle that
Are you
might
going to
be
finish that?
don't leave it
exactly.
closed. There's, just leave it an open pod. The ammunition would be vulnerable to attack.
Just load it.
Sensitive. The components. It wouldn't be a conduit to the interior of the droid.
Like, could it load inside?
Could the inside be shielded?
Could the inside be shielded? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've explored that. The problem, though, is just that we lose the ability to fire multiples. But we would be able to fire one at a time. It's a thought, because it does open them up.
Well, I mean, if you put I guess there's a converse to putting bigger firepower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bigger firepower causes more damage. What if you put multiple launch pods?
Oh.
That's a thought.
3 or 4 right?
Like 3 or 4.
Like 1 in each hand and 1 in each foot, like the lions?
Yeah.
Samuels, get that down. He looks at one of the white tech guys, and that guy starts jotting down a bit more.
Just out of curiosity, that beam that was used to reduce my ability to function as a superhero, as well as his, it's obviously something that could be deployed. How small could it be deployed?
I'm sure you've seen them in New York City. You guys seem to have villains pop up there all the time.
We don't see those guns, though.
Well, that's relatively new. See, we figured out the creation of material 30 years ago, 40 years ago. We were able to figure out that contact with a mutant or somebody who carries an activated gene negates the functionality of that gene and thus negates the power. But only recently have we realized that we can ionize pieces of that material and turn it into a projectile weapon.
So those energy beams are actually a projectile? It's not just a bolt of energy? There's a solid emission in there?
It's a particle beam. Tiny, tiny pieces.
Nice.
Would it be possible to outfit local law enforcement with such a device?
Do you know how incompetent the NYPD is?
Yes, we're well aware.
Do you think I would give them one of these things?
Perhaps some well-connected friends of yours could handle 1 or 2 of these devices in New York City as a backup for said competent police officers.
Let me tell you something. 82% is the number. Do you know what that number represents?
82 out of 100?
82% of the heroes that we have serving in some capacity for the United Nations, for the United States, for Africa, are mutants. If the bad guys got their hands on something like this, they could nullify 82%. The only person who's going to be able to fight back at that point is Tony Stark. No, we've got to be very careful. Oh, and maybe you. He points to the android.
I'm not genetically based at all, am I?
I don't know. Did you? I think you activated it.
Changed my genetic structure.
I feel like your genetic structure did get changed, but if you feel strongly about it, we can change your origin.
Do you have a beam then that could undo the effects?
No, we haven't found that out yet.
Do you think it might be good to have that hit?
The fact is, you've got this technology now. At some point, even if it's 20, 30 years from now, you're going to lose it and somebody else is going to develop, or somebody else is developing it independently. It's going to happen. Figure out a counter.
Iron Man 2, where Tony Stark said 20 years from now somebody else would have a arc reactor capacity in their chest. It took 2 days. Maybe 2 weeks.
It's a good point. It's an arms race. It's always an arms race. And we just got to be ahead of them. And don't you worry, there's things that we got on the drawing board that you haven't even seen yet.
Show us.
Such as?
That's way above your pay level, my friend. Maybe someday.
Believe me, I could afford to sell some big assets in the recent past.
Gentlemen,
10 years or so.
a good conversation. We appreciate your efforts here. It's very much appreciated. He reaches into his pocket. He produces 5 white cards with a dexterity that you didn't think possible for a man with 1 eye. He slides them across the table. They each take different trajectories across the oak table, and they each land in front of each of you. It's a white business card. It says Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's got a phone number. And there's my contact information. You call me in an emergency.
Much appreciated, Mr. Fury.
Good work. You've done us a great service tonight.
Should any openings become available in your organization?
I thought you were joking when I first met you, but maybe now I'll think about it. I'll think about it. He shakes his head. There's only one thing that's just really crappy about this whole situation. I owe your Colonel Sanders $50 now.
So he was right. See, that Colonel had faith in us.
You realize very quickly that Nick Fury and Colonel Sanders had a bet about your performance on this test, and it looks like Nick Fury bet against you and did poorly, and now your boss has done well.
Any more questions about my arm?
Do you want it?
Do you
want it to spare? Do you want it?
I don't have 2.
You never know. You might need a 3rd.
It's about, I'd say the conversation has stretched probably for an hour and a half as you guys have talked details and eaten and relaxed. It's probably about half past midnight right now, so you know. You are feeling a bit tired.
The end of the game, like, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Precisely. It looks like they don't have any more questions for you. Do you have any more questions for them?
I don't. I stand up, I shake his hand, I thank him for the opportunities and his hospitality while we were at S.H.I.E.L.D. And I just excuse myself.
Have a good night.
I tell him I'm done, and I feel like I'm crawling out of my skin at the moment. I gotta finish this weekend.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you go find one.
No. I think I burned off enough energy.
What are the rest of you doing?
Do you know any mutants who could, who might have like the ability to find out the history of an object if someone in contact with it, where they can look at the arm to find out how it was, how it ended up
Seer or an Oracle?
You don't think we've tried that with the psychics we have on staff? Oh. Oh, we tried that. We tried that, little man. And I'll tell you, they didn't see nothing. Well, all right, our best psychic saw one thing, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
What was it?
When was it?
It was a party. It was like a dance. They saw people dancing. Our best psychic in all of S.H.I.E.L.D. took a hold of that arm and saw men and women dancing. What the hell?
Were there any details that they came up with, like the type of outfits people were in, the music they were dancing to?
Look, we give these psychics somebody's wallet, and they can tell us their hair color, how far back their hair has receded, what grades they got in second grade. We give them that arm, your arm, and they said they saw people dancing. You know what that means, little man?
You got nothing.
We got nothing. Oh, I was serious. I was hoping that you knew what that meant.
He's taking dance classes. Just to polish that.
Not anymore.
Hey, I know I'm not in the room anymore because I've gone walkabout, but have you guys attempted to like plug him into your computer and see if you could download anything from his memory?
Do you have
banks?
processor
Does he
memory
have
banks?
processors? Does he have
What's your Positonic net?
In the arm?
No, him. Since that arm came from him, have you guys tried to plug him into your computers here at S.H.I.E.L.D. and see if there's anything inside somewhere deep in a little microchip somewhere?
We could try that tomorrow if you like.
Well, we think it's something that came from something in the future.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Where it wouldn't have.
The jig is up and gone.
Are you all for any testing mechanism?
Speaking of
Okay.
the future and time, I had a friend do a little research for me, and I showed him the picture of us that takes place, what appears, 30 or 40 years earlier.
I just want to clarify, that picture
Yeah, that would not
is a picture of what looks like some sort of accident scene, black and white, grainy, and the only thing, and it looks like there's been, I mean, there's a cop car that's turned over, for example. You see some like indentations in the road, in a smashed building. There's a cop car that's crashed into a building, and right on the edge of the frame, you see a leg and a wing that's gray and fuzzy, and it looks like it might belong to somebody that you know. But I just want to clarify that you don't see, you know, all of you guys in like a group photo hugging, smiling for the camera. It's not like that. That's the description of the picture.
In a gesture of, let me put any pieces we have, potential pieces to be question of the arm, time travel, etc. We have stumbled upon this picture. And we believe this portion here, which obviously this picture is significantly aged, we believe this portion here could represent our fine, furry little friend here.
I flatten my wings a little for dramatic effect.
He's like, he looks at it, he pauses, he turns it over.
Take your eye patch off so you can focus better.
Take a look at those cars. What do they look like they're from?
Where'd you get this?
I have friends.
I got friends too. That's not my question. Where'd you get this?
Friends of mine gave it to me. I asked them to look into some things for me.
Send me an email on this.
So you got his card then. Just do it right there.
You might have the resources to run this down to find out where
it's located.
It actually occurred.
Where this will has happened.
You guys are developing new verbs. I have no idea. This looks like something out of the 1950s, though. I see that. That's a 56 Chevy, I think. I had one of those once.
Is that something like when we met those other guys on the...
No, that was different than that Tijuana trip.
No. You know, where we met them for the first time for the last time?
Where you got the suit that makes you fly, that you can't fly straight?
Right, exactly.
It's going to take time.
I know it's fuzzy, but it's...
Oh!
Believe it or not, he's walking on air.
There you go.
You never thought he could be so free.
I need some time. We'll have our people take a look at this. That's interesting, though. You got any more like this?
I'll talk to my friend.
All right. Guys, anything other questions before you call it a night?
I feel nervous when he does this. I feel like he's trying to go by it or missing something.
No, I think he's totally winging it. I know that look.
I don't know, Bob's got a good poker face.
All right, well then, you call it an evening. You go back to your rooms. It is... After you get cleaned up, you wash the grime and the dirt and the gunk and the blood. It is the deepest, soundest sleep that most of you have ever had in your lives. Normally, you heal the amount of your endurance per day, so we're going to double your endurance for this sleep. That's how many points of health you get back for the next day.
I think my health regen went up.
Yeah, it's whatever your endurance is right
I'm all
now.
over the place. I have some regeneration. 46 per day. Yeah, I'm covered, I think. Also, we add in with the...
So I'm pretty much 100%.
Let's just say that most of you are covered.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, nerd, you don't quite feel right. You don't think that your power has returned. And Max the Tank, you try to jump off the ground, and you know your power has not returned.
Does this create a problem for Max with this extending energy?
I would also like to point out that it has now been about 12 hours since you last used your powers, and you feel like maybe you've just had a good potent cup of coffee. You're starting to feel that familiar feeling. It's nothing to worry about just yet, but you're starting to feel that energy inside of you building up. In the morning, they take Andy the android, and with his permission, they see if they can connect him into a mainframe computer to search his memory banks, with your permission, of course. The process takes about an hour and a half with their experts. They find a trace of nothing. I mean, they don't see anything unusual. They have all of your memories are still there from the very moment that you were activated, like, what was that, 16 years ago, or however old you are, or you're 36, right? So every waking moment, every hour, every minute that you've existed can be played back. You have memory that goes beyond petabytes, like petabyte exponentials. And you can actually replay that at will if you wanted to in your own mind. But there is no hint of additional memories or evidence. You seem to be, 36.
Before I turned in, I contacted my kid brother, half brother, wherever he is there, and asked him if he had any more information about that picture.
It's like, nope. How's it going there, Unc? You're up late, aren't you? I mean, it's like 2:30 my time. What time is it over there?
It's late.
I'm
hurt.
You're hurt?
Anything you can find me on this picture?
Nothing.
Is worth its weight in gold.
Well, I haven't found anything. I'm looking for aliens right now. You want me to go back and look?
The picture for a while.
Stop
Okay.
no, those are good.
All right, I'll see what I can find.
Thank you.
You coming home soon?
Soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. At this, Nick Fury does not show up, but as you are eventually having lunch, having reconnected, they do advise you that they found you a chartered plane. The plane can take off this evening if you prefer, and you can be back in New York by tonight.
Let's get one more day here.
I would like to stretch out our time as much as possible here.
So we're all better.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning would be fine.
You think by tomorrow morning you'd be fully recovered, at least of your wounds.
I'm more concerned about their ability.
Triple J, did you say something?
Yeah, I need to talk to Brian about recharging my battery. Give me a little vibratory shaking.
If you shake it for him, buddy.
I'll be Chris.
Wait for the shake.
Don't touch me there.
I'll be your vibrator.
I noticed Chris is shaking the camera as well. That's pretty funny.
Do you like it there? How about there?
I think
Sadly unclean.
I think you heal about 3 uses per hour, so it does, or is it 5? I think it's 3. So it takes as many hours to get you back as you've lost uses. So 2 hours. All right. All right. So the day passes, and
So if we're hanging out overnight, I go find the little white lab rats
okay.
and
Eat 'em.
have a little conversation with them about how I can blow off some energy without doing too much damage to myself.
You explain your situation,
Right.
how you have energy that builds up, and the only way you can expel it is through your rocket power.
Right.
And you ask them if they have any ideas.
Any ideas of how to help me? Otherwise, it's very possible. I explained to them flat out. It's very possible I can wind up in a coma or dead if we don't find a way for me to get rid of this energy.
They frown, they look at each other, and they say, well, you regenerate, that's one of your powers, right?
Yes.
So what if you take damage? Does that work?
I don't know if I've ever tried that. Usually what I do is I just blast myself off and blow off the energy by using my rocket power.
Huh. Well, hurt yourself. See if it works. I don't know. We don't run into problems like this.
Great. So I walk over to the cabinet on the side of the wall.
I did the headbutt the nerves did that.
I don't know where I'm coming from.
I thought about doing that, but I really would like to not probably piss off my feelings by whacking one of his lab rats in the head with a headbutt. All right, so I asked him. I said, that training ground that we were playing on the other night with the robots. I said, is that available for me to go run around on?
You're gonna stand and just wait for artillery shells to hit you.
Yeah, there's no testing going on right now. Sure.
Can we have some testing going on? Like, can you fire one of those tanks in my general direction?
Well, one of your guys knows how to fire a tank. I don't think we got to take our guys away from this.
I press the button.
They're busy doing some other stuff. You guys have plenty of time. Come on, just come with me. Give me a hand.
We don't know about these movies.
No.
Okay.
We got work to do here. I mean,
10 minutes. Come on, 10 minutes.
I don't know how to fire a tank. What?
Come on. You build robots that fire missiles. Push the button.
Go get somebody else. This is beneath me. Look, I don't get paid enough to fire tanks. My job is to sit in air conditioning.
Coolest thing in the world. I grab him. Pull him a little closer. And I say, look me in the eyes, because right now I'm really starting to get angry.
And you would like me
to try a psyche roll. See if you can intimidate him into following you.
Okay, my psyche is a 26.
It's going to be a green attempt.
Okay, so I need a...
No, I'm just not.
Put 2 more sides in there.
I need a 36 or higher.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay. 50.
Okay, all right already. Let's hurry up. I gotta get back to work. This is ridiculous. I don't get paid for this.
10 minutes. You get paid for everything you do here.
So the two of you walk out,
right.
And you find the tank.
Yep.
The tank no longer runs forward or backwards because you crashed it into ED-210.
Right.
But it appears to still have, it has 3 bullets, or 3 heavy pieces of ammunition left.
Okay.
You stand up in front of it. Go back farther. I don't want to get back blasted. Go back farther.
Okay, so we move back farther. I stand next to a vehicle.
Okay.
And I tell him to shoot the round into the vehicle.
Okay.
Hoping that the dispersal of the energy, when it hits me, will knock me over and
so
take some damage.
You hear him, like, reading to him. Page 57. Raise. Turn to the left. Adjust the auxiliary. Okay, I think I got it. Ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
He fires. It sails over your head. It goes into a building. Sorry. Hang on. I'll try again. I'll try again.
Let me get my cup on.
He takes a long time to reload. Brian Baird did a better job with the assistance of the android. Ready?
Ready? Hold on a
Oh,
minute.
that's good.
Okay, go for it.
The tank expels a bullet which catches you in the chest. You fly backwards. The damage is 65 armor piercing, so it actually will ignore your body resistance. So you take a flat 65.
Karma.
We want to regenerate.
Do I feel like that has worked?
You wait. 72 seconds pass.
Okay.
1 point is healed.
Okay.
Another 72 seconds passed. Another point is healed. But you feel like you've had 2 cups of coffee right about now. You just knowing how you feel as the energy builds. You haven't been you're not like knocked down to 1 cup of coffee. If it was your guess, you don't think it's done anything.
I don't think it's done anything.
I thought it was any of his powers.
Yeah. What are your other powers?
Regeneration
Yes, it's regeneration, flight, and damage resistance.
and damage resistance.
You realize that you may have a problem. A big problem.
Yeah.
Is he gonna vaporize?
Can I go back to work now?
Yeah, you can. Thanks for your help.
Okay.
Let's just keep this between you and me.
I'm going to tell my wife that I shot a tank at somebody today. Are you kidding me? This is weird. This is the weirdest day I've ever had. I'm going to go compile code now. He walks off shaking his head. The day passes, dinner time comes, and you are...
back from my...
yeah, you get a call back from your half brother, or from your brother, and he apologizes, but he's just spent about 2 hours combing through images of that, and then you spend another 2 hours after combing through images of naked women, looking at pictures from the 1950s and 60s and 70s, but he can't find anything. I mean, he saw a lot of people like dressed up as bats. There were like Halloween parties. There were like costume parties and stuff. In Hollywood, there's a boatload of them, but he can't find anything.
I sent him a picture of Andy.
Andy the android.
Look for this kid.
Okay. So let me get this straight, brother. You want me to go on the internet and look for pictures of a 6-year-old boy? Why? Like, listen, I'm pretty good at stuff, but the people at Google are going to flag me. And then I'm going to be wanted by a whole bunch of people in the FBI.
Yeah, I know how to use an animizer.
You're going to turn into an animal?
Animizer.
All right. I'll look. What specifically am I looking for? It would help if you told me something.
Anything to do with this individual in the past 50 years.
All right.
Anything.
Okay.
Actually, how old are you, 16?
36.
Anything? You gotta give him a date range, a year range.
Okay, 36 in the past 36 years?
Well, I don't need anything for his current life. Anything before his
older than
activation.
36 years.
Yeah.
All right.
But only going back 50 or 60 years. I don't need him to go back to 1825.
Okay, do you think Google really does a search by age, by era?
He's writing algorithms now. He searched them all.
So you're talking about the upper range would be 1977 and 1927. You're wanting me to look in that date range?
Yes.
Okay. I'll see what I can find.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
This is not like a practical joke, by the way, is it, brother?
Sadly not.
You're asking me weirder and weirder stuff. Okay.
You should try the this and decoding it.
Because I can get you a picture of Molly Cyrus when she was 6 years old. Would that help?
No.
All right. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, now you're coming up on 9 o'clock at night. You've had dinner. You're feeling much better, much well-rested. And the day's coming to a close.
I'm trying to dive into the electrical outlet.
You hit your head and take a point of damage.
Bob, is there one of the party members that I feel I can completely trust enough to be able to tell them my situation?
You tell me how you feel with the folks you've worked with. You've been together as a group for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So you've known each other for about 5 years, although I don't think anybody has known you prior to that,
Right.
given your background.
Right.
So, your call.
Yeah.
You want to sleep on it?
What kind of power does he generate? Like, I have energy detection electric.
Yeah.
Is he developing a massive charge inside him that I'm going to feel?
You know, I don't know if anybody's really explored with any detail the source of Max the Tank's power. There are a number of competing theories. One is that he is converting the oxygen particles around him and turning it into combustible kinetic energy. There's another theory that argues that he has a form of gravity manipulation, and what he's really doing is manipulating gravity around his body. Another is that he may have inherent telekinetic power, and he's actually just got the ability to move himself. It would probably take a team of scientists in at least a month to figure out what his source is, but nobody's ever...
I'm not detecting anything, is really what I'm asking.
Oh, no, you don't detect anything off of him.
It's not electrical. It's not vibration-based.
No, it does not appear to be vibration-based.
Jeff, what do you detect for energy?
Like,
Andy, what does Andy detect for energy?
Does he detect energy?
so I didn't take it because you...
All right, okay, that's fine. That's possible.
He eats stuff, he can shoot various energy spectrums,
Yeah, I didn't take energy.
and voice manipulation.
Yeah, he loves impersonating me on the phone, my business clients.
Okay, anything else before the night ends?
It's not intelligent.
Your flight is at noon. They can change the charter flight, but they're just going for noon, so you get back at a reasonable hour.
Oh yeah, that trip back across the country sucks.
Okay, so the night passes uneventfully. You are well rested. Anybody who had any remaining damage is now fully healed. Max the Tank, congratulations. Your pinky is now completely new, fresh, and pink. The only thing that is a little weird is the rest of your hand has like a slight, sun. It has some color to it, but the pinky is fresh and like albino white right now.
Is the nail drawn back?
The nail is back. Nerd, you feel pretty good today. You feel normal.
I know. That's
I go see if I can jump into the wall.
Roll me the dice.
Oh wait.
Don't crash this plane.
Was it? Who's she? No. Who needs a movie screen? I'm trying to find it. Energy Path Travel, Remarkable 26. 75.
You jump in, and you now have access to the entire electrical schematic of the dormitory where you are staying. It feels good to be restored fully. Max, bad news, buddy. You do not feel the ability of flight within yourself at all. And you're on day 2 now. You take You now are feeling very giddy. You feel like you've had a Red Bull and 5 cups of coffee. And any action that you take requires a -1 shift. So you take a -1 right now.
Do we notice this, or is he telling us that he needs to go burn off some energy?
He's still actually... I mean, this is his life. This is what it's been like for him for a long time. So he's very good at hiding it. So at this point, you have no idea because he's gone a couple of days without using it before. In fact, one of our probably last week, for example, on the flight over, he went 2 days. So you do not detect anything unusual about him yet, but he knows inside himself he's feeling it. Nick Fury is not able to wish you off. God bless you. But a couple of the other tech people, including Randall, one of the lab assistant scientists, wishes you well. And the plane is actually they've got a it's actually quite luxurious. It's very nice. It's larger than a Cessna. It's outfitted with drinks and comfortable seating. And you're told on the way up that some of the Avengers have used this in the past. And flight time from Nevada, or rather New Mexico, back to New York City should be maybe about 4 hours, 5 hours.
Quick, stop gathering DNA samples.
I walk out of the bathroom. The whole use that. Don't use it.
And you board the plane, and for a change, you have a pleasant, relaxing, comfortable ride. It's got access to the internet. It's got a full array of like entertainment, movies. There's satellite. There's internet.
I watched Condor Man.
And nothing bad happens. Absolutely nothing bad happens. It's really pleasant, actually.
I'm waiting for Mike to
What's the in-flight movie?
The in-flight movie can be any movie that you want because it's a private
I
plane.
watched Condor Man. Which, if you don't know what it is, look it up online. It's a Disney 80s.
Or just save yourself a pain and don't.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Just don't do it, Chris. Don't do it.
What does this mean? I don't think it means what you think it means.
The plane lands without incident back at the airport. Because this is a field plane, you are able to bypass security and TSA, so you have no difficulties getting back in. And you call a cab, and I assume you take yourselves back to your headquarters, presumably.
Yeah. I was going to say, usually you fly me.
Back to the Bat Cave.
Yeah.
It's not a cave.
It's
The Bat
mid-rise
Penthouse.
apartment, dude.
The Bat Penthouse.
The Bat.
It's
How
nice
far
to...
are we? Because I'd rather fly if it's not too far.
You can fly, absolutely.
I'd much rather not take a cab.
The airport is probably about a 15-minute cab
Can I
ride.
register my flight path at the FAA?
You'd fly too low for that, unless you really want to get up there.
No,
Yeah.
I just want to not be in the cab.
Yeah. No, that's fine. You can fly and stretch your wings. It's been a while since you've had the opportunity to fly.
It's been a while since I've been harassed by the general public, too. I want to stretch out a little longer.
That's a fair point.
I take my own cab. I made a quick stop to see my kid brother. Thank him for his efforts. And I gave him a couple $100.
Oh, it's awfully nice of you.
Supposed to get on the 720.
It's not out yet. It's an Xbox One now.
Oh.
Of course, it's impossible to avoid your sister, who hugs you and admonishes you that you should visit more often. Oh, excuse me, not your sister. Sorry, your parents, or his foster parents. I don't know how that. What's the? I can't remember his living arrangements, but whoever his guardians are delighted to see you. You do not have a contentious relationship with them. They invite you to stay for dinner. Your younger brother, who's 14, comes out. He's got purple hair. It's partially shaved. He's got like 3 piercings, 2 in his nose.
14?
Yeah, 1 in his ear. His younger brother's 14. And
I give him way too much spending money.
Apparently.
he grins. He says, "What about that Xbox?"
That has not been released yet.
All right, you better get on that.
But here, why don't you buy yourself a couple of Xbox games now?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Mom, can I keep it? She mutters to herself something about spoiling her son.
You have to bribe your own brother to help you?
I reward my brother for helping me.
That sounds like bribery to me.
No.
He would be paid beforehand if he was black.
Where the money changes hands.
He grins and he says, "I got work to do. I got to get back. Excuse me." And now, properly motivated, he disappears back into his room.
Any results? I mean, you know, okay, I was going to say, I would say if I was there.
Thank you, everybody. I gotta go.
Okay, you leave.
Oh, go back home.
You see your brownstone, the 11-story building. Everything seems as it was. You fly back into the top floor.
Oh, I probably should have a key on me, too, going back to that,
You've got a keypad,
oh, yeah.
and you just type in the code that you know what it is, which is pi 314159268.
That's what I would have said.
Yeah, and then it gets you in. The rest of you take a cab back. You're your own cab nerd, but everybody else is together, I presume. And it's nice to be home and sleeping in your own bed. And it is another relaxing night.
All right, guys. It's been a great fun. I guess we start zombies next week.
We didn't get a middle of the night call.
All right, it is now the morning. Max, day 3, buddy. And you do not feel your power.
The feeling is going through detox now. Little shakes, little.
It is bad. You've only gone this far probably maybe 3 times in your life.
Yeah, not many times.
Yeah, and now you feel bad, and now it's getting very hard for you to hide this. If you want to try to hide it, you're going to have to do some sort of psyche check in the yellow. And if you can succeed, then you can hide the shakes. But if you can't, then anybody who works with you is going to see it pretty quickly. I guess the first question I have for you this morning is, are you going to try to hide it?
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to hide it at least for the morning.
Okay, so we'll do a roll for the morning and the afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll do it like that. So if you want to make your psyche check now for yellow.
Oh, yellow.
Psyche?
Remarkable.
Sounds like about 35 better than my starting psyche.
So you need a 66 or better, I think?
Yes.
Okay, that's doable.
Oh.
63.
Yep.
Oh.
I was thinking you would roll that.
63.
Wow.
You do your best.
I thought I mentally controlled that.
So what's your safety?
Apparently.
You
That is crazy.
you go to shave in the morning, and you slice your face, which immediately reheals
By the time you
instantly.
finish the stroke, it's healed.
Yeah.
You hold your hand out, just trying to keep it straight and steady, and it's still for just a moment. With like an extreme investment of willpower, you can keep it straight, but the moment you let go of that attention, it starts going, and you know that you can't maintain that level of control all morning at least.
Who do I think
Good night,
is
Amy.
the-
Hope you're feeling better soon.
Who do I think is the smartest in our group? Brian, right?
It,
I would think.
I think it might be
I was thinking Andy.
Andy and Brian. What are your reason rolls?
Oh, mine is...
And Triple J, what's your reason?
26, sorry.
16 extra.
Okay. And what's yours, Brian?
Like an 8.
8. So I think Andy the android is the best, followed by Triple J.
Reason is 8. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's Andy the android followed by Triple J then as the smartest.
I kind of figured it was Andy, and I figured that shield too, that was going to be, like, if it got to this point,
Mhm.
I figured he was the one I was going to actually have to talk to.
Andy is smarter than Einstein.
Yeah.
Triple J actually has the same role, approximately, as almost nearly Einstein.
But he's the FNG, so he doesn't have a clue what's going on with him.
That's true. Okay.
After cutting myself, shaving, and realizing that this is going to be
Almost impossible to try to keep in the group at this point, without some assistance of some sort, I go find Andy, or I summon Andy to my suite.
Okay. You're suite on the 10th floor,
Yes,
one floor under.
One floor under.
Okay.
And
I go see him.
and have a conversation with him about exactly what is going on. Explain to him exactly what, basically telling me, look, with all these things that I can do and the regen and all that stuff, I have this issue that I've discovered only by, not using my powers did I actually find out that this happened. And how far I could push it, and let him know about where I am in that, and that if we don't figure out something pretty quickly, the understanding I have I will tell him not where I got this information from, but say that I from some people that I knew who were helping me, they estimate that if it goes too much longer, I could actually wind up going unconscious and into a coma, and potentially, if that doesn't reverse from that point, that it could kill me.
And maybe even others.
And maybe even others, correct. Right. So I need him to figure out a way to somehow, like I said, I'll tell him that the only way I've only known of being able to expend this energy is with my rocket power. And that I can't find any other way. I explained to him even the fact that I while we were at S.H.I.E.L.D., I had them shoot up, a shell from the tank directly into my chest. Not by choice, exactly. However, that didn't even, change what this ray did to me.
Andy, what do you think?
I've noticed your ability to sit still has decreased by about 40%.
Right now, I feel like I drank a 6-pack of Red Bull, and I'm ready to climb the walls of this building.
Have you found any other connection between the rocket power and any of your other abilities?
I don't think there's any direct correlation between the two. I was hoping that there would be when I went into S.H.I.E.L.D. and had them, try to use the tank shell to create an energy that, would, try to shake me or rattle me or, to use it.
See, I just want to offer, but I can't.
Like, I would love to, wonder if, there were, like I said, again, they don't even know exactly how my rocket power works. I'm not really sure how my rocket power works. So...
Do you think you can make it another day?
I probably can make it another day. The longest I've gone is the beginning of 4 days.
So you're there right now?
No, I've got one
This
more.
is 3 days?
This is day 3.
This is day 3. So if for some reason something doesn't happen tomorrow, I am really afraid of what might happen after that.
Oh, you're at -2.
Yeah, oh yeah, I
For
would
your
imagine. Like right now, my concentration, my focus, everything is just gosh. It's just.
Maybe we take some blood samples and see if there's any discrepancies from what your normal baseline.
If you need to, you can reroute from the auxiliary power to the lateral shield, the lateral sensor array.
Adam suggested that he could reroute from the auxiliary power to the lateral sensor array. Excellent.
If I, knew what was going on. Okay.
That way I can do some research to see if there's maybe like a supplement that we can give you to burn off this energy or...
Yeah, I mean, that would be, at this point, I'm up for anything because just knowing that this, I mean, granted, knowing that this weapon's out there and it's on our side right now, I gotta be honest, the nerd's comment to Nick about, the fact that this thing, either you develop a reversal for it or somebody else is going to develop it, someday it could happen again where, I get hit with this thing and who knows. He said it could take up to 10 days. If this takes up to 10 days, Andy, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Andy, would you want to make a reason check right now for me? It would be green, I think.
I also tell Andy that I'm not sure I really want everybody else to know about this, unless, he thinks we have no choice.
Or you can blatantly obvious.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously, it becomes blatantly
How'd you do?
obvious.
What was the exact number?
20.
It wasn't critical failure?
No.
Okay. And it's what is your reason? Remarkable?
26.
Okay. All right. So you're not critical failure. You're still in the white. So all I can tell you is that you recall Triple J has a degree in a doctorate in biology. So
I think if we bring Triple J in here, you may be able to, if you're comfortable with that, maybe look at some blood work, look at just regular vital signs.
You could tell we've been a team for 5 years. You can't trust all of us. We put our life into his hands all the time.
Triple J we just met.
Yeah.
Or not even.
that is true. But he did serve himself pretty well in the past 7 days.
Triple J might also have some ideas.
If you how about I'm kind of getting desperate and nervous at this point. I think
I trust him. I think he can help you.
Okay. All right. So we
bring him in.
We bring him up to his room, see if he's there, see if he's willing to come down for a little powwow.
Okay. Triple J, do you go down?
Of course.
Okay. Now what?
We explain the situation.
All right.
Holy crap! I'm out of here.
Let's get some breakfast.
Triple J, what do you got after hearing the description of this predicament?
So the only way so far that we know that you can release this energy is rocket flight.
That's correct. That's the only thing that I've been able to figure out is by using my rocket flight power to be able to basically dispel this kind of energy that seems to build up inside me, almost like your kid on pixie sticks.
Well, okay. I have a suggestion. Do we know anybody else with rocket power?
I don't. I mean, we do know lots of other superheroes that fly.
There's a villain called Nitro. I think I remember that from comics, but there is a villain called Nitro who caused a big civil war among the known superheroes by using a rocket power-like ability, which blew up a school and killed 600 people about 6 years ago.
I thought there was one of the New Mutants that had like a rocket-like ability too.
That's right. They all got killed in that explosion, except for 2 of them. Yeah, that kicked off the Marvel Civil War. if you remember.
Where I'm going with that is I have mind transfer. And if we can find somebody that we can transfer into you who can fly, maybe that person can expend your energy.
Interesting.
So what if, I mean, the nerd can't fly, but the nerd can move through energy? What if I transfer the nerd into you and he transfers and then he zaps through some electrical stuff? Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I'm a little concerned about him electrocuting my heart and stopping it.
Do I notice anything else? Do I don't have a lab kit, but I'm sure Brian has something there.
I have stuff all over the place.
Well, he's got half the wealth of Tony Stark, so he's got a few toys. If you want to do a biology roll for me,
Yep.
it's your reason +1 shift.
Reason +1 shift?
Mm-hmm. So instead of
16.
So now it becomes remarkable column.
90.
Wow, is that yellow?
I don't know, you have it, I don't.
Yes, that's in the yellow. That's the high yellow. So, examining his blood work, you think that the issue is that the other powers are passive in nature, and this requires a full expansion of energy. You think your idea might have a shot?
The idea of taking the nerd and transferring him inside of me and having him kind of dispel energy?
Having somebody else who can use energy once they're in your body might do the trick.
I mean, the only one we have that could do that, essentially, is the nerd.
Well, actually, you've got vibration emission from Brian Baird. The Whisperer's got vibration emission.
If I had his regenerative and abilities to, well,
you and I are involved in this conversation.
yeah. I was thinking,
I mean,
the financial implications.
I mean,
I can try myself if he doesn't want anybody else to know. Get in there and use a little bit of vibration.
I say, well, you're right here, right now. Let's give this a shot. I mean, we can always get Brian if we need to. I mean, but you're standing in front of me, and I'm literally crawling out of my skin right now.
Okay,
So,
you're going into my body.
Give me your best shot.
Okay, so we're rolling a mind control?
Because I'm really not worried about taking damage.
I'm monitoring vital signs.
Great idea. I guess I need a mind control. And are you resisting, or are you going to sort of cooperate?
No, I'm not resisting at all.
All right, so I'll give you a...
If you should resist, that's an act of effort.
I will give you a +1 Whisperer to swap minds with the tank.
All right. I bumped it up to a remarkable.
So now that means you're rolling at incredible. And it's a green, so you need a 31 or greater.
Can you guys see the screen? Because I typed the roll in the screen. Can you see that number there? In the chat window?
Oh, we don't have the chat up, Chris. Hold on a second.
Oh, look at the number I just rolled on
Adam, can you pull up the chat window?
using the computer.
Is that a 31?
That would be a 31.
And you needed a...
31.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Well done. You just make it by the skin of your teeth. And now we need a psyche roll from you.
Good thing I bumped that up to a remarkable.
This would normally be a green psyche roll, but you can choose to let it happen, in which case the only way it would not succeed is if you roll 90 or better, because your mind would still have natural defenses.
Right.
So roll less than 90 and it'll succeed. What'd you get?
89.
Oh, so the Whisper barely succeeded, and you barely succeeded in failing. Okay, you feel disoriented.
I might have been so amped up that my mind might have just not let it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So that could be...
Max the Tank, you now find yourself looking from a completely different perspective. You find yourself staring at yourself. And the one thing that seems incredibly weird is that the hair on your head is parted on the wrong side. And then you realize that for your entire life you stare into a mirror. which converts the reflection incorrectly. So now you see how other people actually see you. It's very dizzying for a moment, but you kind of orient yourself. You also feel incredibly, and I can't stress this enough, incredibly fragile. You feel like you are a piece of china that is so easily breakable.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got 141 hit points.
You do, but you do not have the regeneration or the body resistance that Max the Tank has.
But I listened to
I feel like one of those guys who's spinning a china plate on a toothpick.
You feel like the plate.
And I feel like the plate.
And, yeah, and you do not feel hyped up right now. You feel calm. Your heartbeat is normal. You feel kind of good, except for the fact that you also have these aches and pains everywhere. And this is very unfamiliar to you. You haven't felt like this since before
it happened.
it happened.
This is like Superman. There's Superman 2, he loses his powers, and he goes into the diner, and the guy beats him up.
I was going to say it's like Dr. Horrible's suing on Rod, but you haven't seen it.
Meanwhile, Whisper...
So I'm completely freaked out, basically.
Well, a little bit, but you knew what was going to happen,
Right.
so not totally. Meanwhile, Whisper, you're more familiar with taking over people's minds. You find yourself in a vessel that feels just so jumpy and strong and powerful and, like, boundlessly full of energy. You feel like you've just had 15 cups of Starbucks coffee, and you feel good.
Oh, it's so good.
What are you doing now?
I'm going to have to find a place where I can go vibrate something.
Okay, where?
Brian obviously has places, a balcony perhaps.
You have 260 seconds before you have to switch back you will be switched back automatically. That's the limitation of your power now. You think you can get up there, but you might only have about 30 seconds left.
Well, I could also just vibrate something.
Okay.
Anybody have suggestions on what I should vibrate?
Wow, that's the worst question ever asked in a game night. Good thing there's no women in
It's good thing we're not there either.
Yeah.
If I look around, is there anything I can vibrate?
Sure, there's furniture in the room. There's a bed, the's a desk, there are weights. We're still in... Oh, no, we're in Andy's room.
We're in Andy's.
That's right.
I thought Andy had a closet with a plug in it.
Oh, we are in yours? So he's got a weight room connected to his suite. He's got weights.
Good. I'm going to hold one of those weights really close to my chest.
Yep.
And squeeze it, and I'm going to vibrate it.
Okay.
It shatters.
Until it shatters, because it'll shatter into me. So you have regeneration, so it shouldn't bother me. I just don't want to hurt anybody else.
You got a 50-pound weight that you find. It's not the heaviest, but it's mid-sized. He's extremely strong. In fact, you feel very strong right now, stronger than you normally do. Roll a vibration.
Oh, it just keeps going down. 12.
Oh.
I have an amazing though at 46. That does not help me, Rebecca.
That does not help you. Maybe because you're in a different body right now, you feel out of sorts. You could try again. Just note that you got to scratch off one use for the day.
Actually, 2 uses.
2 uses.
Right?
Oh, yeah, because of the mind transfer.
Hey, use some karma.
Yeah, if I need...
Oh! You drop the weight on your foot. A critical failure. A 50-pound weight falls on your foot, and you feel instant pain, and 2 bones shatter in the foot, 2 toes. But then what's kind of weird is you can kind of feel them healing automatically. It's really a bizarre feeling. You've never felt like this before. You only have about 30 seconds left. Do you want to try again? You might have 2 more power uses.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead. Jeez.
Okay.
Why does it keep giving me 1s?
Oh my gosh.
Wait, am I doing it right? No, I'm not doing it right.
What are you...
That one was wrong.
Oh, you're right. 1d0. Okay, the first one was good. That was a natural 1, but that was 1d0.
Karma.
I don't know how to get that shot back.
Use karma.
Use karma. 89.
There you go. You start to vibrate the weight. It begins to shake really fast. You look like somebody from one of those infomercials at 3 o'clock in the morning that looks like they're doing something else, the shake weight. And then all of a sudden, the weight just seems to kind of break into component parts, into dust, and fall to the ground. And I'll say, you suddenly feel less shaky. You feel incredibly shaky, but maybe a little less. You have about
I do,
10 seconds, 15 seconds left.
I do it again. I do it on something bigger, like a bed.
Okay.
Vibrate. Just put a quarter in. Put a quarter in. Put a quarter in.
Quickly, get in the bed.
Let's see your roll. How do you do on the bed?
73.
That's a yellow, I think. You vibrate the bed and cause it to explode into splinters. Now you feel as if you've only had a cup of coffee. For purposes of your sake, Max, maybe you're 1 day in now. So he knocked off 2 days worth.
Knocked off 2 days worth.
Yep.
Can we switch back?
And your mind reverts back into its normal self. And Max, your mind reverts back. 260 seconds have passed. And you feel much more calm. But you're like back to day one now.
I think that actually worked. That's the weirdest thing. What the hell happened to my dad?
Well, you saw it. You were there.
I know.
50 pound dumbbell.
That's my favorite 50-pound dumbbell.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, all I do is I just literally walk over to the phone. I pick it up. I call down to Sleepy's. I order a new bed, and I tell them to charge it to Brian.
very good. They'll bring one over. Your cell phone rings, nerd.
Ring, ring.
Ahoy! I think
Ahoy.
triple K, Gray,
Jack.
triple J.
Triple Dre.
Hey,
Ahoy.
is that you, Wallace? Scratch. It's Dennis. You recall Dennis Scratch as your second contact. He's a 75-year-old
He's the
man.
old guy. You're down, yeah.
He works night shift. At the desk. And what's really weird is it's not.
It's daytime.
It's daytime. It's like.
This is a very odd time for you to be calling me.
I know. Listen, have you been following the scanners at all?
I am not. We were out of town and just returned last night and crashed early.
Look, there's something at 57th. I think you guys should go check it out. You're not going to get a call from your boss or anything about this, but it stinks. It really stinks.
I'll be sure to wear my nose plugs. Thank you.
I might meet you there. He sounds distraught.
Okay. I round the gang up. Now I got a
No.
call and it's time to go.
No, exploded.
I press the button. It says, alarm button. It says, everybody come. We got shit to do.
Oh, you mean the group, the email distribution list? Group text button?
Oh, there's no blares around the office. Around your
Oh,
apartment.
the intercom. Oh,